My name is Miguel Castillo. I'm a faculty in the Crop and Soil Sciences Department at NC State University, and I work in the Forage and Grassland Management Program.
I'm Becky Spinman. I'm the livestock agent for Bladen County. First up, we're going to talk about spray field fertilization. So our spray fields are guided by our waste utilization plan, our nutrient management plan, to decide how much we can put out. So you're going to take a soil sample to get an idea of the lime recommendations, but you won't use that soil sample to actually fertilize your fields. You'll rely on your waste plan. So that waste plan is going to tell you how much PN or plant available nitrogen that you can put out on the field, and what time of year or our pumping window that you have to apply that in. So one spray is guided by a couple of things. One, does the crop need nutrients at this time? And then what our lagoon level is. So if it's time for pump, we're going to spray that pool or that field, however your farm is set up, and then rotate to the next field or the next pool. So that way we're covering the entire farm throughout the growing season to make sure that every field gets the application of nutrients that it needs. While we're pumping, we want to make sure that we don't have ponding, which is when there's water standing in the field for 4 hours or more. So when we're applying, we may need to make sure that we're bringing in the gun or we're applying at a fast enough rate that we're not leaving water out there standing. So one of the things you need to do is to assess your field. So that's walking through it, not just walking 10 feet and looking. That's actually walking all the way through the field and seeing things. You can do it when you're on the tractor, you can walk through, but having an idea where your weak spots are, your bare spots, where we have a lot of weeds and where we have a lot of good grass that we want growing. Having an inventory of what weeds you have, such as this pigweed in this pasture, will tell us what we need to spray and when we need to spray it. So that way we're timing the application with the correct product at the correct time. So when we're assessing a field, a spray field, to see how weedy it is or what things we need to do on it, first thing we have to know is what type of grass we're supposed to have out here. So this is a Bermuda grass field, which you see in front of you. So we have quite a bit of weeds. It's been a rainy year this year, and so we've had some weeds come up that we typically don't see. This one is goosegrass, so it's a weed that we see, which is a little bit harder to kill. So another common weed that we'll see is nutgrass. You can see the spikelets at the top. So still looking at some grass and sedge family members. This one is actually vassigrass. So you can see it has the big mid-vein in it. So now we're moving into some broadleaf weeds that we see in this field. This one is sickle pod, so it is a broadleaf weed. So here we have one of our pigweed species, which is another broadleaf weed.
So Bermuda grass is a warm season perennial grass. Its growing window in the southeast part of North Carolina is mainly between March and April and September to October. Bermuda grass responds quite well to water and addition of nutrients. Therefore, it is the crop of choice for spray fields or areas that are receiving animal manures. So in terms of clipping or grazing Bermuda grass fields, an ideal clipping interval would be around 3 to 4 weeks. The longer you wait to cut it, the greater amount of forage biomass you can collect, but the lower the protein and the energy value of that clipped biomass to feed livestock. On average, Bermuda grass can have 11 to 12% good protein and total digestible nutrient values, TDN values, around 60%. In terms of the foliation management, whether it's cut or it's grazed, you would allow enough time for Bermuda grass to regrow at about 12 inches. And you will cut or allow your livestock to graze that down to a stable height of 3 to 4 inches. In the middle of the growing season, you're going to reach that height much quicker in the summer than you would in terms of the spring or in the fall. So Bermuda grass is an ideal crop to be overseeded. And so when Bermuda grass goes dormant in the winter, come the months of October, November, we can overseed, plant into it cool season annual forages like rye and oats. The reason why we do that is because we can have plants growing during the year on a wider window providing either forage to feed livestock or allowing for discharge or application of nutrients into the field. So there can be some insect damage and pests that also can affect the productivity of Bermuda grass pastures.
So the first one that we usually see is armyworms. Luckily, we don't have any damage in this one, and we can show you some pictures of some other fields that have it. Our second one is the stem maggot. So this is a frosted appearance. So what's happening is the fly is laying a little larvae that turns into a maggot that eats that top node of the Bermuda grass, and it stops that point from growing any further. So while most of the time you're not going to see the flies, and very rarely do you see the stem maggot in there, by the time you realize it, it's already done its damage. So there's a couple of things that you can do. One, if you're close to being able to cut the hay, go ahead and cut it, and that will hopefully reduce the damage. The other one is spraying with the pyrethroid every 7 to 10 days after you start seeing damage. Another one we see is leaf spot. So it is something, especially in humid times of the year, that we will see. It doesn't really damage the Bermuda grass, and there's nothing that we can do for it. It's not harmful to the cows, but it is something that you see on it, and it's going to turn it that purpley brown appearance.
So to establish Bermuda grass fields, there are several cultivars available. There's really two types of ways we can establish these fields. From vegetative materials, what we call sprigs, which is stems, rhizomes, and also seeded types, which basically we establish from seed. There are several cultivars available of Bermuda grass that grow quite well in our region in terms of vegetative materials: Tifton 85, Tifton 44, Midland 99, Coastal, and Ozark.
So this field behind me was cut in the last 2 weeks. So you can see the difference between the growth stage of this one compared to the one that we were in. That really should have been probably cut last week, but it's going to be cut after we have filmed this. So you can see there's quite a bit of Bermuda grass. There's still some other weeds. You can see a couple of the Vassy grass that's out there that's real tall. But you can also see our Bermuda grass has a lot of coverage in this field, especially compared to our last field.